Hey guys, this is gonna be one of my first videos. Just kind of documenting my trip to for work today. Actually, we're heading out to Palm Desert, which is just south of Palm or east of Palm Springs. It's about 95 miles or so from here in Anaheim, and we're gonna try and do it in one trip. The round trip will be 180, 200 miles, somewhere around there. And I'm gonna head down the road maybe 10 miles, and I got a 100-gallon water tank I'm gonna fill up, so that's, I don't know, 800-900 pounds. Plus I got a bunch of other stuff in the car, so we're probably a bit over 1,000. Plus me, obviously. And so we're juiced up to 100%. This is a 2023 F150 Pro standard range. It's reading 238 right now, which is actually the highest I've ever seen, but this is the first time I've ever charged it to 100%, so. Let's get her unplugged and hit the road and see what happens. It was a little windy yesterday, so hopefully we don't have too much headwind. I did a similar trip, not as far, and I was getting about 1.5 miles per kilowatt for quite a while. Except on the way back I had a tailwind, so it ended up being about 2.4, which was pretty good. I think we might be able to beat that today. Well, actually I wasn't hauling, so probably not. We'll see what happens. All right, let's hit the road. So I just wanted to give a little bit of backstory. So we're just starting out. I already lost a mile. That's not encouraging, but oh well. I got this truck about a month and a half ago, and it's been doing good. I actually have not DC fast charged it, despite driving between my short days are 20 miles just going to the office, but when I run out to jobs, it's I've put as much as, I don't know, 100, 150 miles, except when I have these desert jobs. I did one, like I said earlier, where I drove it, it was about 180 miles in the day, and I still had about 30% charge, maybe a little bit more than that when I got back, so I made it easily. I drive a little over speed. Most of the speed limit is about 65, and I'll typically just set it at 68 to 70 cruise control, and I just sit there. I typically give myself plenty of time, so I'm not in a hurry. So we're gonna head down this road right here. We'll see if the regen works. I'd be surprised. Live on this hill right here. But, all right, well. Oh yeah, and so I did a different trip a while back. It was from here in Anaheim up to Big Bear, California. Here, my house, I think it's about 500 feet elevation, maybe a little bit less than that, maybe 400. And then we went up to the house. It was 6,800-ish, somewhere around there. And from here to there, I think I got 1.3. It was a lot higher than that until the climb. There's about a 20-mile section where you're climbing pretty good. And I was getting about 0.5 miles per kilowatt. I basically reset my trip 2 at the bottom of the hill and recorded. So yeah, it was really sucking the juice there. Yeah, we're not regenning at all, actually. But not surprising, that's normal. But it's still automatically braking, so I'm still getting one pedal drive. So that's pretty good. But on that trip, yeah, so I got 1.3 on the way back, and then on the way there, and then on the way back, I got much higher, obviously because of regen coming down the mountain. By the time I got back home, I had climbed all the way to 2.8, which was very surprising. I didn't think I would get that good. So that was excellent. It was a little concerning going up the hill, getting there with a 1.3. I think I was down to like 40% battery or something, but the way back is pretty much all downhill in one way or another. So that was really good results. In the summer, I have a boat that I'm gonna be towing up there. First time, I'm probably gonna play it pretty conservatively, and I'll definitely be probably charge it up at the bottom mountain just to make sure I make it. Like I said, there's just a 20-mile section where it's like a pretty good climb, so see what happens. But all right, I'm gonna hit the freeway, and we'll check back in a few. All right, see you. Just a little bit of a update. So we're heading out, and unfortunately, we're heading straight into the wind. I can see all the trees blowing backwards from where we're heading, so not good. We went down a hill and then got on the freeway, and it was at like 5 point something after a mile or so, and then we got on, and it immediately is dropping below 2. Well, it looks like it's hovering at 2. I got it at 68. I'm gonna
down here at 68 for a while just to kind of give it the best chance. Well, we got plenty of time, so no rush. But yeah, not a great start, unfortunately, but this is a climb also, so that's not super surprising. Let's see, I can check the navigation, it'll give me the elevation. So, we're at about 325. So we went down the hill a bit, and now we're starting to climb back up. There's 345, 350. Yeah, so we're climbing right now, so it's not super surprising, but that plus the headwind, not great. Hopefully the wind doesn't die down. If it's gonna stay like this, then we have a tailwind on the way back, but yeah, we'll see what happens. Ah, geez, 1.6. Oh well. All right, see ya. All right, first stop. It was howling actually, but the wind seems to have died down, but it was really blowing that headwind. It was really loud in here, which is not normal. It's normally dead quiet in here for the most part. Maybe a little bit of wind noise, but you could really feel it and hear it. So yeah, we were down to 1.5. When I got off the freeway, it jumped up a little bit to 1.6. But it seems like it's died down out here, so we'll hopefully that'll help us a bit. That other areas was just like a kind of a narrow valley, so that's probably why. But yeah, let's get the water tank filled up and hit the road. All right, so here's the setup. We got the water tank filling right now. I obviously placed that on top just to keep it from flying out. But there we go, yeah, 100 gallons, and a bunch of random tools. Got some off-road recovery gear. So we're gonna be working in some dunes. And a bunch of random junk, some of my tools and whatnot. So, yeah, probably be around 1,000 pounds. With me, maybe 1,200. When it's all said and done. Obviously, the payload on this is actually very surprising. It's around 2,067, I think it was. Which is, I've had a lot of half tons. That's by far the highest I've ever had. So yeah, that's great. We'll see how it handles it. It's a heavy truck, 6,250 pounds, something like that, unloaded. So be a bit over 7,000 with this. So yep, we'll give it a few minutes and let her fill up, and then get going. All right, we're all loaded up. Obviously hard to tell. You can see the water line. It's right up here. So ready to go, and it's really not squatting very much, but obviously it should only be about half its payload. It's a little bit down in the rear, but not much. It still has a rake to it, so yeah, not bad. All right, back on the road, and yeah, it feels pretty good actually. I made the analogy the other day that the truck, it accelerates like a sports car, and it absolutely does. I mean, it's faster than a lot of sports cars. I've got a 2003 Corvette Z06, and it has a basically identical 0 to 60 time as this. This thing weighs damn near twice as much. But I said it accelerates like a sports car, but it handles and rides like a 1980s Cadillac, and that's not really true. It's actually it's still a bit stiffer than something like that. Especially like little bumps, kind of. It's like you still get that jitter like you do with a normal truck, or a solid axle truck, I should say. And now with this weight in the back, it actually kind of irons that out a bit more, so it feels like it's riding even better technically. I really can't feel the weight back there, and I know a lot of people just say that, but I really can't. I'm sure the energy consumption will go up a bit, but here we are. We're still sitting at 1.6, just about to get back on the freeway. Hopefully the wind's died down, so we'll see what happens. But we do need to climb a bit more with the extra weight. I doubt that's going to go up very much until we crest over, I think it's like Banning, somewhere around there, Banning Hills, whatever they call them. And then it's actually down, and we're going to go, the elevation over there is probably, I don't know, 0, basically sea level, I think. So yeah. All right, I just want to touch on a few more details. I forgot to mention the temperature outside. It's actually been pretty cold here in Southern California. I mean, for us, obviously. But every night's typically been in the 30s or 40s for us, at least. Maybe by the coast it's a little bit warmer. And tonight I'm reading 60 degrees right now, which is by far the warmest it's been. I think it's something to do with that wind blowing from the desert or something. That's those Santa Ana winds, they call them. Probably something to do with that. And I saw a flag, and there still is a headwind going on, so we're not out of the woods just yet with that. So, oh well. I did want to talk about the truck. It is a Pro, and I'm not a fleet. I managed to get one of these. I basically just got really lucky, like pretty much everyone else who managed to get a Pro. When the I'll start from the beginning, but I've wanted an electric truck for a while. My dad got a Tesla Model 3 a while ago, and man, I just fell in love with the way that thing drove. It made me really want an electric truck, because I need a truck. My job requires I need four-wheel drive. I need a bed to haul. Could I get away with something a little bit smaller? Maybe. I've always driven half tons just because typically the cost and miles per gallon penalty has been so insignificant that it's like, all right, well, why not have the extra space? I don't mind driving it. It's a bit of a pain to park when I have to go to the city, and don't get me started on going to LA or anything like that. I can't stand that. But yeah, so I knew I want an electric truck for a while. Then Tesla announced that Cybertruck, and I didn't know what to think. It was so ugly. But the specs were pretty damn impressive. So after talking to my dad about it for a bit, he's like, well, if you don't buy it, I will, so go ahead and put down a reservation. So I did that the next morning. I think I'm still like 200,000th on the list or something like to that effect, even though I signed in like 12 hours after. So I knew I wanted that. I knew I wanted an electric truck, and I was like, oh, the Tesla would be good. And then I was like just perusing Reddit, the car forums, everything, and then I saw some of the specs for this F-150 leaked. It was like a couple hours before the announcement or something like that, and I was pretty impressed. I definitely wanted the extended range battery, and obviously that didn't work out. But when it was announced, I put my name down immediately. I actually had a little computer trouble at first, right when the thing started, but maybe 10 minutes in, 10 minutes into the conference or whatever, the announcement, I did manage to get my name down and everything submitted. So that was good. And then on the model year 2022, they did a wave system. And wave 1, you could order anything. And then wave 2 is what I got invited to, and the Pro was sold out. The XLT was available, but the price jump did not seem good to me. The value was not good. It was $12,000, and I literally didn't want anything it offered. It was like some lighting and the running boards, like I can add those for $200. And then, like I said, the extended range battery, the cost was extremely prohibitive. You couldn't get it on the Pro, and you had to get like an XLT, and the price damn near doubled. It went from $40.50 to $70.80 basically. So I said, I kind of looked at myself in the mirror and just thought about if I could make it work, and I was like, I'll just have to charge a little more even when towing, but that's all right. So I extended my reservation when it wasn't available, which they let you do. That's a whole nother video, but they obviously did not like that. It seemed like they didn't like people doing that. So they obviously aren't offering that now for people, which obviously I feel bad for. But I did manage to do that, and then in August of 2022, they called me and said, hey, it's all right, it's time to order your Pro. So I put my name down. I ordered a Pro standard range, obviously, with Towtech, Max Tow, the bed step, and the Pro Power onboard. So yeah, there was like basically 4 options. I did get the bed liner too, and it was basically a fully loaded in quotes Pro. All that stuff's good. Most of the trailer backing up systems, though, I really just think they're a total waste. I know how to back up a trailer. It's really not hard. It's totally natural to me, so I'm not going to use that. But most of the other stuff's pretty good, especially the trailer brake and all that. I'll definitely use that. That's good stuff. And then the 360 cameras is absolutely amazing. I highly recommend it. I've never had anything like that before, and it's a game changer. So yeah, I took delivery middle of December. I think the biggest problem with it was the damn bed liner. I think it got stuck at the spray shop for like at least a week or two, so that killed me. And then when it finally got here, it got stuck in the train yard for another week or two, and so that added a lot of time. I think it was built like October 31st, or no, it was November 2nd, I think it was, and then it was delivered mid-December, December 16th or something like that is when I took delivery. But overall, I really love the truck. I haven't had an issue with range yet, but like I said, where I'm in Southern California, it doesn't get that cold. I don't tow on a daily basis. Like I said, we have a boat. It's like a 19-foot Sea Ray that we take up to the mountains once a year and then bring it back before winter. And then I do have a little utility trailer that's about 12 feet long, or 12 feet of utility space, maybe 15, 16 feet long. And we throw a couple ATVs and dirt bikes and go out to the desert with that. And then occasionally at work, they'll have me, I'll have to get like what's called a water buffalo trailer. It's about 500 gallons, and tow that to job sites if we need a lot of water. I have towed a 1,000-gallon one with an old half ton I had, which do not recommend. It didn't have any trailer brakes. Luckily, I wasn't going far, but man, that was a scary drive. Did not like that. So yeah, I don't tow too often. I'm not towing a camper across the country or a boat. So you just got to be realistic of what you want from it, and I think it'll take care of you. Like even on this trip, if I need to charge up, let's say we're going 200 miles and I'm thinking it's a little close, I'll just stop at the charger and maybe juice up for 5 or 10 minutes or something. That should be plenty to get me back. I don't need to fully charge for something like this, so that's no big deal. I normally would have had to get gas anyways in my old truck, which I'll talk about for a second. I've had a lot of F150s, and then all right, we just entered Moreno Valley, and we are at about 1,700 feet, 1,660 feet in elevation. I was about to say square feet, that's not right. And it was at 1.7 for a while. It just clicked down to 1.6 as we crested the hill. I wouldn't be surprised if it jumps back up here in a second. We still have a little more climbing to do through the Banning Pass, I think it's called. So yeah, we're doing all right. After that, it's pretty much downhill to where I'm going for, I don't know, 40 miles or something like that. So hopefully that number climbs up a bit. All right, we just crested the hill. I call it the Banning Pass earlier, but some people refer to it as the Badlands. If you've been through it, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, we're coming down into not quite Banning, but Beaumont, I think it is, something like that. Still down at 1.6 after that climb, but from here it's pretty much all downhill. I saw a peak of like 2,310 feet in elevation, so I think that's the peak. And then from here it's pretty much all downhill. We might be beneath sea level by the time we get to our site, but it's definitely windy. I could feel, especially when we hit that crest, it was howling. You can see the trees blowing towards me, unfortunately, so that's not great. But again, if it stays like this all day, that'll help me on the way back, but I doubt it will. It typically dies down in the middle of the day. This will be good for all those wind generators out here towards Palm Springs, but not great for my economy. So yeah, still at 1.6, and maybe a little bit more of a hill to climb. But once we get over that, it's all downhill, and hopefully that thing will climb. I'd be happy if it sits at 2 when we get there, but we'll see. See what happens. Hey, it looks like I lied. We're actually still climbing. Let's see. I'll pull up the navigation, and we're at 2,500 feet right now. It's still going up, but I think right about here is the peak. So should be all downhill from here. All right, a little update. Unfortunately, this is just a fact of life when you're driving east. We're driving right into the sun, if you can see that. It's a bummer, but it's not unexpected, obviously. I do this drive all the time, and that's how it goes. We're up to 1.8, not as high as I was hoping, but still going. I think we have another 20 miles or so to go, or no, 10 I think. Let's see, 13 miles, okay. And then elevation is 735, so still going down. We'll see what it ends up at, but yeah, that's how we're going. The wind seems to have died down a little bit, ironically, considering we were driving through all those windmills, but before that it was howling, and obviously it was heading directly towards our back, so that's like worst case scenario, just total headwind. But like I said, hopefully it keeps up so it can help us on the way back, but not expecting it. We'll see what happens. All right, so we have arrived at the job site. It did tick over to 2 just before, shockingly actually. And there we go, 94 miles to get here, 114 miles of range remaining. Let's check the percentages. Here's trip energy. Really, barely anything affected it. I did precondition it before we left, and I did have the heater on initially for a few minutes. And then I turned it off. It was pretty warm. It's a little chilly now, but it's really not bad in the cab. And then let's see. And then our charge is 55%. So technically I could make it. We're at about 200 feet, so maybe a hair under where we started. So yeah, if we get lucky and we have a tailwind on the way back, should make it pretty easily. But see what happens. All right, we're out here wrapping up the day. It's about 3 o'clock or so. We did gain about 100 pounds from some soil samples that we took. However, we are going to be losing about 800 or 900 pounds of water. So hopefully that helps, as we got a big climb ahead of us. All right, we're heading out for the day. We did a bit of off-roading actually in the sand. Finally used the off-road mode, and it did pretty good. I was pretty impressed. I did do some off-roading on some rutted out trails for a different job I did recently, and I wasn't super impressed. The biggest problem was the independent suspension. The thing just kind of bobbed up and down going over these ruts, lifting wheels, and also the lack of a transfer case and that kind of creep that you get from an ice engine. You'd kind of go up a hill and there'd be a little a steep part, and if you let off the throttle, the truck would roll backwards, which you really want to get with an automatic ice with four-wheel drive. But here in the sand, it did great. It automatically locks the diff when you do that, which probably wasn't necessary, but I never struggled for grip, and I was in some pretty deep sand, and it did really, really well. There's so much power. It just you could always just throttle out, and even went through some big bowls of some like dune sand. Not a problem at all. So now we're about to head back. I punched in my house into the navigation. It actually does say we need to stop for a charge. We're sitting at 1.9 with 107 miles of range. I've never seen it say I needed a charge before, so we'll see how that goes. But hopefully we still have that tailwind that we started off with, because that'd be really helpful. But all right, so here's a little update. Still going. I'm in Corona on my way back. We're at 2.1 miles per kilowatt, 165 miles. Getting a little low. I was actually gonna stop and grab something to eat by an Electrify America in Moreno Valley, but I cut off and it was totally full, and there was about 3 cars waiting for it. So I pushed on. I actually don't need to charge. We're about 30 miles from home, and we have 45 miles of range, and it's pretty much all downhill, except for the last mile is a slight. You go up 150 feet or something in elevation, whatever it is. So that's no big deal. So I can definitely make it. I am pretty hungry though, so I haven't eaten all day, and it's pretty late. Well, I haven't eaten since breakfast, but so there is another Electrify America I'm gonna try over here. I actually haven't done it yet, so I kind of want to just try it, and if there's anything to eat there, I might grab a bite, and then grab maybe 10 minutes of charge or something, just so I make it home comfortably and the battery doesn't sit empty for a few hours until the rates go down. So yeah, that's my plan. All right, just got home. Here's the totals for everything. 194 miles traveled, 2.2 miles per kilowatt. hour and a 39. I did stop and charge. I finally found one in Corona at a Walmart. Except I pull in and there was one available, but it was only dispensing 34 kilowatts. So I sat there for about 10 minutes. It added about 6 kilowatt hours, and then I figured I had plenty, so I just took off. So let's see, what's the final? It's probably like 19%. Yeah. So 19% is the final tally. And if I didn't charge, I think I still would have made it. It would have just been at, I don't know, 12 or 13, something like that, minus the 6 kilowatt hours. So yeah, that's the final tally. I wish the charging went a little better. Not that it was necessary, but oh well. Hopefully next time's a little better. All right. Thanks for watching. Bye.